quiet night last night?
Yeah.
Tournament a little bit?
Feels like a tournament. Yeah, it was a late night. Thank God the power went out in my house, so like I said, didn't have to worry about making excuses for being late.
And you had a game to scout. You had a Gonzaga game.
Yeah, we watched that. I got the second half of that game. It wasn't the second half wasn't real entertaining, but they're good. They're the best fast-breaking team I've seen in a while, and they get it up and go. And of course, Timme is exactly what they said. I mean, he's probably the best center in college basketball. If you look at all the way around, averaging 27 points a game, he can do it a lot of different ways, and it'd be a great challenge for us, but an exciting one.
Is the next 2 weeks more of a mental grind or a physical grind?
It's going to be both. I mean, you can't play that many high-level teams and not have it a mental grind, but you can't be traveling those distances and not have it a physical grind. So it's going to be a little bit of both. But like I said, when you get an opportunity to play in these kind of things, and you get an opportunity to play the kind of games that we're going to play in teams, we've had a little problem getting up for some games, or maybe respecting our opponents a little bit at times. That's why we get big lead like last night, and then we kind of, this you won't have to worry about it. There'll be respect from the start to the finish, and it's that way with all teams when you play some non-conference teams. The fact that we're playing this many in a row makes it a little harder on a Jaden Akins, for example, who we'd like to work back into this gradually, and that's probably not going to happen. We gave him the day off today, not for any other reason than he had rehabbed so well and done some things. He was not sore, but we just felt that was best, especially coming off of last night.
What are some of the nuances of playing on the ship that you kind of can take from last night? Plus, with Jaden, I mean, I know that at times that the condensation has been an issue. I imagine that's something you keep.
Yeah, that there was that one stretch with us where we had a little bit, but I don't worry about that. These guys have played out on concrete, so it doesn't matter. The nuances on the ship is just the amount of time it takes to get there, and when you get there, how long it takes to get up, and how you got to go through the different protocols. And if you looked at our itinerary, man, from the time we get there to the game time, it's pretty loaded. I think those of you that are going are gonna be in for a treat. It's an incredible venue, and you'll almost die. Like I talked to Wojcik, how big that ship is, and they are. And but at the same time, we get a game to play, and it's the same exact circumstances for them as us. Me having experience 11 years ago, I don't think it's going to play a major part of this game. Except I won't be in awe of watching America's Cup go by, or I won't be looking down at the Navy SEALs in the water and all the cool things that happen in a game like this.
Or looking up at the sky, like you mentioned last time. But the depth perception, is that any different? Like when you were in the Final Four in Minneapolis at US Bank Stadium, that seemed to be kind of an issue back then. Does that do anything?
They always say that depth perception is different in all these venues. I mean, the Final Fours are very similar. In ways, I think they're even harder because they're even bigger. Now, even though you have the sky, you can see the basket. It doesn't look like a BB on a 4-lane highway. So, I don't know, but if it is, it's the same for them as for us. So, I'm not worried about it. One time I practiced outside back in the day. I didn't think that did us much good. So, we'll just practice in here and see how we do. We got to, practice tomorrow, and then we're leaving. The biggest thing is to get some rest now and really take care of ourselves, and yet get some things done when you're in practice.
San Diego's one of the great places in the country. You ever see it?
Hell no. What am I going to do? Go to the zoo and everything. Enjoy the weather, do a little surfing. Probably I might do a little surfing right before the game, Freddie.
Okay.
But I don't. It's not that I don't want to go there and enjoy ourselves either, because this is a memory-making experience for the players, and of course that's part of the educational aspect of all this. But they've got us pretty booked. We're going to visit the museum. We're going to see some cool things, and as I've said, for the 4 or 5 different military events I've been a part of, whether it be going to Kuwait or playing in Germany or the aircraft carrier or all the other ones, it's necessary that I hope for all of you that are going, take a moment and appreciate the ship. The fact that we're going to be on it for 2 days and those sailors are on it for 6 months, without coming home. Take appreciation for just the organization. There's a ship that's going to have 4,000 or 5,000 people. That's almost the size of my hometown as far as number of people on it, not for the game, but normally. So there's some really interesting things about it. But what I'm looking forward to most, I've already seen the ship. I'm looking forward to finding a way to win a game. And Mark Few's done a great job with their program. They've got some veteran guys that are back, and Timme, of course, is the main culprit.
Do you get a sense from your team, Tom, about the excitement and the opportunity?
I do think they're excited. I really do. I think enough other guys have told them as guys have come back and have played in it. Of course, Austin Thornton played in that game. And then the opportunity to play the number 2 ranked team in the country that some people's had them number 1. So anytime you get to do that, that's a great experience too.
I heard on the way here, and thanks, Chris, that the team you played last night was a little chippy, a little mouthy, and your team didn't sit and take it, push back a little.
I don't think they, that's why we got into the tunnel thing. No, I don't want my guys going and spitting on people or grabbing people. Malik. Chippy to me is what you do on the scoreboard. Chippy to me is how you play the game. I do not want to get pushed around by anybody, but chippy is kind of a word or that might be true, but it's chippy's for losers. Let's not be chippy. Let's do our job, and if you want to stick it to somebody, let's do it by what we do on the court.
You mentioned last night that you were proud of Hauser for everything that he's been through and for him to have a double-double in that game. What are you looking forward to seeing, from him, in this big-time setting?
Well, I'm anxious to see now whether he can continue that, because I told you he's been in a good place all summer, and what he went through, and it's I sit there and get a little teary-eyed when I hear fans pulling for him because I remember the other side of it. But I think Joey, and now we got to get Malik going, because Malik just wasn't a part of the game last night, and that's as much our fault as his. Tyson he just missed every shot he took. I told him I thought he missed more shots last night than I've seen him miss in this gym all summer. And but as long as we were getting good shots, I thought we got a little, not chippy, I thought we got a little anxious and took more bad shots than we have. The good news is we got 65 shots up. That's really important. The good news is we turned the ball over 9 times, really important. The bad news is, we get a big lead and we had them down 21-5 or whatever it was, and we kind of get our foot off the pedal. And so, there's things you can learn from that game. I'll be honest with you, I thought that was a decent team. I know a lot of guys played some other people and some won by more. We made a few shots. I think we could have won by more, but I thought they were very well coached and did a good job.
That energy out of the first 8-10 minutes, though, you had to be really pleased.
I really was. I thought defensively, the first 13-14 minutes, we were as solid and good as you can be. I think at the 7 or 8 minute mark, that's when it was 21-4-5 still, I think. And it was good energy. It wasn't they missed shots, but we contested and did some things. AJ got in foul trouble, that hurt. Tyson missed some shots, and I thought he dropped his head. We didn't get Malik as involved as maybe we should have. And trying to get Jalen back acclimated, that's going to take some time, both offensively and defensively. But just having his energy out there is fun, And as I told Malik, we got to figure out how to balance it a little bit. But with Pierre getting 8 or 9 shots and Jaden getting 10, that's 19 shots that maybe we didn't have in the game before. So we'll figure out how to balance that out.
Aside from the ship, is your team ready for the challenge of Gonzaga?
I don't know if you're ever ready for something this early in the year. They talk to a lot of coaches. That's the reason they don't schedule a lot of big games this early in the year. Me personally, if we're not ready, we're going to know why we're not ready. And I think it's going to be a positive either way. But make no mistake about it, this is a great Gonzaga team, and a very well coached one. But we're not going out there to enjoy the ship. We're going out there to try to win a game, and that's what we're going to try to do.
Tom, how do you help AJ find that line between being aggressive and, some of those things, plays that he had last night were maybe a little too aggressive?
Yeah, that is a tough deal. We showed him a bunch of film today. He just still struggles. When he plays within himself, he made some incredible passes. He had 8 assists, and he should have had 12 because Tyson makes a couple of those. But he had 3 turnovers and could have had 4, and that doesn't even out, And so we're still talking to him about trying to go 1-on-3 and things like that. I think it's his Philadelphia mentality that I'd like to get more Midwest, and so we're working on it.
Tom, some fans are excited with what they've seen from the freshmen, the flashes in these first 2 games. How much of an impact do those guys have over these next 2 weeks, though?
Well, I was honestly excited for Trey. I know Jackson, is going to be able to do some things. He can really score it. He's still got some work to do defensively, but I knew offensively he can do some things. But I thought that Trey did the things that we aren't doing. He pushed the ball, he guarded, and he rebounded. And you put those 3 things together, and that's very important, especially at that position. So, I thought we got something out of both freshmen. Carson's a little ways behind that, but I thought we got something out of both. And I think, it's just a matter of seeing how Jaden does so we can figure out what our rotation is.
How much of a problem is Timme's versatility, and how big of a challenge is that to handle that with your guys?
Well, it's going to be interesting for Marty. Can he stay out of foul trouble? He's done a pretty good job in the 3 games so far, scrimmages and that. That was one of our main worries. Is Marty going to foul like he did last year? Marty's done an incredible job on that, and so that's helpful, but he's not faced a monster like this. I mean, this kid can do it with his right hand and his left hand. He's got spin moves. He can shoot he can shoot a 3, but he's a 15-foot shooter and in. But he's probably as good a guy at putting the ball on the floor as any I've seen in a lot of years. And they run a great system for him. They're going high to low a lot, top to bottom, top down. It fits right in. So we're gonna have to do a lot of our work early, stop their break, which is lethal, and get some easy baskets ourselves.
You had Doug talk to these guys at all about the Navy military aspect of this whole thing, given his experience?
We will before we leave. We'll just talk to them a little bit about the ship, because I don't want them to get there and go, because that's what I did.
Yeah.
But I think it'll help that Doug is been a military guy and knows the importance. And when you get there, and these people are so appreciative of us coming. And meanwhile, when they're done, they're probably going to sea for 6 months. It's just a joke on how it is. But my appreciation doesn't change, and so Doug can help a little bit. I'll take anybody's help.
Aside from Timme, what else do they have that poses a problem?
Oh, they've got some players now. They've got some guys that have been there a few years, and the Bolton kid is from Penn State, then he went to Iowa State, and now he's there. So, they've got a couple of 5th-year guys that are around. The other big kid inside, they got a transfer from LSU, but they got another kid that actually played with Doug's kid up there at power forward. And so they've got 4- and 5-year guys besides, and everybody thought Timme might go pro, and he stayed, and that was good for them.
Getting Malik to run in transition the way you want it done along the lanes, how do you go about that?
Well, we changed some things up, letting Malik and Joey handle the ball. I think that hurt us a little bit. It helped us in some ways, but it hurt us as far as running our lanes, and we're going to try to get back to normal on that. And but it is very important that we get Malik out, because I think in the open court he could be more successful, and he hasn't done that yet. Part of it is our fault. So we'll do a better job of that. All right, Jim.